The movie starts in the year 2050, where companies are making a lot of money by creating and selling lifelike robotic dolls called pleasure dolls. These dolls are designed to fulfill their owners' sexual desires. They are so realistic that some people prefer them over dating real humans. We meet two couples in the story, Michael and Brooke. Michael has his own gaming company. While their marriage is stable, they have grown bored of each other. They have children to take care of and a house to manage. Brooke has a younger brother named Drew, whom she cares deeply about. One day, Michael and Brooke are driving to Drew's place, and Michael keeps complaining about Brooke invading Drew's personal space. When they arrive, they find Drew unhappy that his sister showed up uninvited. They soon discover that Drew owns one of the pleasure dolls and seems to be satisfied with it. Brooke tries to convince him to have a real relationship, but Drew insists that the dolls are better than humans and prefers to call them e-mates. While they are discussing this, Drew's e-mate enters the room, surprising him. Michael tries to help her with her headache, but accidentally discovers that she is a sex bot when he touches a switch on her back. Drew confronts Michael and asks him to keep it a secret. In exchange, Drew offers to invest in Michael's gaming company. Michael agrees, and they make a deal. The next day, Michael meets Drew at a bar, and Drew explains how the e-mates work. They can be bought or leased, and their owners can program them to be whatever they want. Drew also learns that his ex-girlfriend is dating an e-mate, which gives him the idea of improving himself to win her back. Meanwhile, Michael is struggling to focus on work, and his colleague Ray asks if there are problems with Brooke. Michael admits that his marriage is causing him stress. At night, when Michael tries to spice up their intimate life with role-playing, Brooke jokes about being turned on by someone else's fantasy. This upsets Michael, and they end up having sex in their usual way. On the other hand, Drew is enjoying his time with his leased e-mate, Quinn. The next day, Michael visits Drew's house to clear his mind, but doesn't say anything about Quinn. Later, he musters up the courage to visit the manufacturing parlor. Inside, he sees people spending time with their e-mates, and realizes that many have accepted the reality of sex bots. Overwhelmed, Michael decides to leave and goes to a bar. The bartender surprises him by knowing his name and offers him the opportunity to customize his own e-mate. However, after starting the process, Michael changes his mind and decides to go back to his wife. The next day, Drew and his friend talk about what is new with the ex-girlfriend. Drew doesn't seem to get over her yet, but the dysfunctional friend couldn't offer help other than eating his Chinese food. So Drew goes to Michael later that day. At first, Michael makes a joke out of the fact that his girlfriend left him for a machine, but as Drew confesses more on changing himself and trying to be more like the machine, Michael agrees to help him with some mentoring. At night, Michael is with his wife Brooke. While watching TV, she tells him his dad called to arrange a surprise birthday party for him. He gets confused as to why she could be telling him this if it's a surprise, but she clearly shows him it's exhausting to go this far to surprise him. His mood quickly changes when he sees the love between them is no longer existent. Disappointed, he walks off quickly, and a few hours later, we catch our Michael once again at the parlor. This time, he initiates the program and chooses his preferences. He customizes his e-mate's skin and color. After finishing, he submits the data and the bartender comes to take his orders for the night. He orders 2 whiskeys, but the man tells him both must be for him. As for the e-mates, they are unable to sip or eat anything. Michelle drinks both the glasses of whiskey and heads on to meet his well-awaited e-mate. Indeed, she is a beautiful girl named Sophia with an attractive body. He likes her as soon as he sees her, but is shy to make a move on her. However, Sophia tells him he customized her moments ago and that her whole existence is to pleasure him in any way she can. Michael tells her though he is married, he would like to get to know her. Sophia then grabs his hand and makes the first move. One thing leads to another, and Michael ends up in bed with her. Of course, she was perfect and satisfying, so Michael felt good afterwards. The next day at home, he often dissociates to the previous night and wanders off in thought. His wife sees this, but doesn't suspect. He offers to take the kids to the park and spends time with them. He never does such things, so Brooke is really confused, but she lets him anyway. Later that day, Michael takes Drew to a nutritionist named Allie. She will be helping him to detox and make major adjustments to his way of living. Drew is happy he gets a mentorship to improve his life and win his girl back. It seems like the two Drew and Michael have switched places, because for the next couple of days, Drew's activities have completely progressed as he keeps on exercising regularly and detoxifies his system, while Michael's activities have been nothing but sex with a sex bot. He visits her regularly and gives her all his time. At this point, Brooke is out of his mind, and all he thinks is showing and giving more experiences to Sophia. The next day, Michael and Drew meet for a walk, and this is where he decides to tell him about Sophia. However, he doesn't tell him for what purpose he is using her, but rather tells him he is buying her for some research. He asks for a favor to place her at Drew's place along with Quinn. Drew does suspect he is sleeping with Sophia, but only agrees to do him the favor. Once Sophia is out of the bar, they meet regularly and spend time. He shows her around, and Sophia lets him be what he wants to be without embarrassment. He is loving her, and overall happier than when he was with Brooke. As for Brooke, we get to see her at cafes where she sees other e-mates with their partners. They all look happy, and she wonders what is wrong with my marriage. At Drew's place, he plays chess with Quinn and gets mad when she lets him win. He asked her why she always lets him win when he can win with his own efforts. Quinn says if she wins, he will be sad, but if he wins, he is happy. So she lets him win in order to make him happy. Drew gets annoyed and tells her he needs to be challenged in order to improve. She argues with him that her purpose is to make him happy in any case. Elsewhere, Michael is at his house cleaning up, and Brooke comes in annoyed by the kids. She is exhausted as always, and Michael tries to comfort her by telling her how good of a mom she is. However, Brooke doesn't pay attention or see the efforts he is putting to approach her. In another place, Drew meets with his friends at the bar. He is now completely a changed man, sipping on tea and reading books. His friend got creeped out when Drew suggested a jazz concert to go to. He thinks Drew is pretending to be a changed man, and affirms to him to stop faking it as he knows him of being a dork all his life. Turns out they've grown up together, and the friend also knows Brooke. Their conversation doesn't end well, as their interests are completely different and distinguished. Elsewhere, while Michael was having the usual with Sophia when Ray, his colleague, calls him about the project. However, Sophia was still kissing and cuddling with him, so Ray thought she called at the wrong time. She hears some noises in the background and hangs up the phone, not thinking much of it. Elsewhere, Drew and Quinn are in their bed exploring one another. Drew asks her in what way he could please her, but she responds she is programmed to give pleasure, not receive it. Drew has changed and no longer has any interest in sex bots, so he doesn't touch her. Back at their house, Brooke has discovered Michael's affairs and confronts him about it. She mentions running into Ray and apologizes for interrupting their intimate moment. It's clear that Brooke isn't the person Michael was being intimate with, so she wants answers. At first, Michael denies it, saying it was another couple next to him who were being affectionate. But as Brooke believes him and walks out of the room, he feels guilty for making her feel this way. He quickly goes to the bar to see the manager. The bartender calmly asks how he can help, but Michael angrily blames the bot for making his life miserable. The bartender shows him the way to the manager's office, which is a few miles deeper into the warehouse. To Michael's surprise, the bartender opens an empty office, sits on the chair, and reveals that he is the manager. The long walk has calmed Michael down. The manager notices this and asks if Michael has fallen for the machine. Michael admits that he has feelings for the machine, but also loves his family very much. The manager explains that people can fall in love with all sorts of things, like pizza, places, museums, and so on. So why is it wrong to fall in love with a perfect machine? The machines he created are programmed to react and take orders. If feelings are involved, it's a reflection of the human spirit interacting with them. And if there are issues, it's the same as the human spirit having issues and problems. Michael realizes that the problem is not with the robot, but with his confused morality and how to act in a customized love scenario. He realizes that as long as he can't integrate his true desires with his idea of love, he will always have problems in his marriage. The manager concludes his speech by telling Michael that it's one thing to be ignorant and blind to such a universal freedom to exist and love, but it's a shame to take something beautiful and pure and complicate it by trying to fit it into something it shouldn't be. After the speech, Michael realizes that the problem lies in his perspective and understanding of things. He decides to go back home and rescue himself once and for all. The next day, he meets with Drew at the nutrition center, and they discuss the matter. Drew already knows about Michael's relationship with Sophia. Michael admits that he's in trouble, but Drew reassures him that things will be okay since he unintentionally got over his ex when he saw her happy. In another part of the story, Brooke meets with Drew's friend. He confesses that he has loved her since childhood. At first, she tells him she is married and happy, but she eventually walks away, revealing her final decision. In the next scene, Michael gives Brooke the business card of the manufacturer parlor that Drew initially gave him. He tells her all about his affair with Sophia, and she breaks down in the bath. Elsewhere, Drew has sold Quinn to his friend, who welcomes her with a smile. For the next couple of days, things remain silent between the couples as they avoid discussing the issues. However, Drew continues to exercise regularly and maintain a healthy diet. One night, Michael takes Sophia out for dinner and sees another woman with her e-mate at the bar. He feels a bit embarrassed, but the woman explains that she incorporates her dating life with her e-mate, and it has been working well for her for almost a year. Michael is surprised by the idea but considers it. After dinner, Michael takes Sophia home, and when Brooke sees her in the garage, she freaks out, wondering why he brought Sophia home. Michael tells her to get in the car and explains that things could improve if she is a little more open-minded. He reassures her that he loves her and that these robots are here to enhance their way of life, acting as helpful subordinates. He emphasizes that his love is for Brooke and their kids, regardless of the fact that she also cheated with one of Drew's friends. Michael shifts the conversation to how they can fix their broken marriage. He suggests that Brooke could also get an e-mate, and they could use them to improve their sex lives. Brooke considers the idea, and Michael assures her that he loves her more than the idea of Sophia. The film ends with the couples agreeing to be more open-minded about their lives, and Brooke faces Sophia, implying that she is ready to welcome her. The end. And with that, the movie ends. I hope you enjoyed our video. Watch the next recaps on the screen and don't forget to subscribe for amazing videos. See you in the next one.